Hello. I just thought I would say good morning to you from a rather misty but clearing little port, and I hope this finds you in good spirits this morning, whatever aches and pains you may be suffering. And here I am in the garden. I'm so grateful and happy to have a little garden to come out into. I remember times when not only did I not have a garden, but I didn't have a home. Okay, it was a long time ago, but I still think about all those people who were in the position that I was in, and remembering how very dreadful it was and how despairing I felt, except that I always had that little niggly feeling that everything would be all right in the end. And of course it turned out that it was. The other thing is about sort of when we ask for help, prayers from above, and those of us who've been in those kinds of terrible sort of situations pray a lot, ask a lot. Just because you don't get things straight away doesn't mean to say you're not going to get them. And even if, like when I was a young woman and wishing that I had a really nice place to live and a garden for my children, things like that, and I used to look at sort of 40-year-old women and think, oh, they've got all this and it's wasted on them. Now I'm a bit older than that myself, and I had a little smile this morning and I thought, are a lot of young people, a lot of young women thinking when they look at people like me at my age and think, oh, it's all wasted on them? Because I don't think it is, of course. But I had the good fortune to turn on to a nice evening service last night with Thundersley Christian Spiritualist Church, and very well led, and very good mediumship by Stacey Frost, and lovely reading from cards actually by a chap called Frank. We didn't get his second name, but I'm sure he'll let me know who he is, hopefully, so I can praise him properly. And it was very uplifting, and I sang along with Gracious Spirit, our little hymn, and our Vesper hymn, Grant Us Thy Peace, and very uplifting it was too. So I do recommend any of you, if you have a scroll through, or whatever it's called these days, and find little spiritualist services going on that you can join in with, like the Little Port Christian Spiritualists, of course. I'm biased. They have a service that goes out every Thursday night. Now, at the moment, we're not putting up words to hymns or anything, but I shall have a mention to Reverend Nick Brown, my right Reverend Nick Brown, that perhaps he'd like to include something like that. If he looks at Thundersley and sees what they do, perhaps he can sort of take some good ideas from that. The thing is that we can all learn from each other, and it doesn't matter how old you get. There's always lessons to learn and new things to do and find out about. So I didn't actually decide to go live to preach at you about anything, just to say that a good morning to you, and to say how happy I felt to be able to be in this lovely garden amongst nature. There's roses beginning to come out. This huge, look, there's this huge rose bush here. That was a little pot plant given to me by actually one of the founders of our church, Jackie Burford, in a little pot about maybe 3 years ago, 4 years, maybe it's 5. When you get old enough, all the years start to merge. But it was a gift for my birthday, and it's been wonderful. And we now have these wonderful, you can see it sort of, she said, wavering it about there. Look, beautiful. And of course, we've planted in the little Christmas tree also, if you can see that. And that's chirped up merrily there, because I don't think it was very happy sitting in its pot for a good 2 years. And now Kathy's looking forward to decorating that at Christmas. And you might have seen the video we took of her planting it in a Santa Claus outfit. Never short of an outfit, that girl. But yeah, so I thought, well, so many things to to occupy your mind with, even if your body isn't up to much anymore. And I was feeling sad. It's the end of the skating season, and of course I haven't been able to skate since 1996 myself, but I am still of course involved very much in everything to do with the ice. And I was just thinking, wow, next season should be a good one. I really hope and pray that next season for all the skaters will be a good one, because of course there's bandy, we're trying to get that sorted out, and and, and long track speed skating of course as well. So I'm involved with the ice stadium project and trying very hard, but the thing is everybody seems to be in lockdown. It's very difficult to move projects forward in these conditions, because people have a sort of mindset as well. You know, our bodies are locked down but our minds aren't, you know, so let's keep sort of forging ahead and doing what we can to keep ourselves occupied. Rosie's keeping herself occupied at the moment, you know, my little doggy. We've got two dogs, one's little and one's fat, and Rosie is exploring the various debris that that's collected at the side of the shed. I'm not going to show you that, but it does look very interesting to a little dog. And now she's going to see if she can. Yes, she's leaping over there. Okay, Rosie, Rosie, do you want to come here? Come and see friends. Come on, look, there she is. No, wonder if you can see her. Come and see friends. Come, look, come. Look. Hopefully you can see Rosie. Can you see? Yeah, look. You know, the older you get, the dafter you get, I suppose. I'd like to say hello to everybody that I can see. If I squint, I can see who is watching, and I hope that you can hear the beautiful bird song as well that we have. And that's the little silver birch there that I planted when I promised that I was going to plant silver birches while I was laying on that radiotherapy table 6 years ago now, nearly 7 years ago, having this radiotherapy as they call it. It's a joke, therapy. And there I was, and they said, well, them upstairs, that is, they said to me, you must plant a silver birch. I said, well, I've only got a little garden. This is me laying on this slab, you know, being radioed. And anyway, we did get a silver birch sapling and we planted it, and there it is. Look at that. Of course, I was back under the old surgeon's knife last year. It kept me free of cancer for a while anyway, at least. And then, of course, it all came back, and had to have a you know, one of those mastectomy jobs, and lymph nodes taken out. I was in a right old state after that, I can tell you. But there's the silver birch growing away regardless and spurring me on to greater things. And now we've actually got another, as you know, I'm sure, if you follow our progress, and yet another. We planted one, thought it had died, took it out of the ground, just stuck it in a pot in the porch, and blow me, it shot up. So we're going to donate that, but the other one we'll probably, you know, try and replant in the front garden again. So there, I hope that you have a good day. If you're in a different time zone, that you have a good next 24 hours. And I wish you well. And as I say, I'm still looking ahead to next season, the skating season. I feel sorry for the footballers and their popular sport. And I feel especially sorry for those who are doing well, whose efforts are going to come to naught, basically. They just have to enjoy. Oops. Now that clock has Cambridge chimes, and it was installed in 1920 on the clock tower of the parish church. I don't know if you can, probably can't see that doing that, never mind. And it was in memory of the fallen of the 1914-18 war, and it keeps very good time, and it has nice chimes. So we're never short of knowing what the time is here in Littleport, because everybody can hear that clock. Um, so perhaps it's telling me that it's time for me to get off. I do often make these, well, I have been making these videos on StreamYard. And putting things like, sort of, you get a ticker tape that goes across the bottom that you can make up and tells you who I am, and then I chat away for however long doing whatever. I've done 3 workshops, I think, or 4, and I've also done a chat with answering people's questions of spiritualist nature, and I was wondering whether to continue to do that, but I guess I will, because as long as people want answers to questions that I'm able to answer, then I should do it, I guess. So I hope that everything goes well for you. I feel so sorry for those who are suffering so much at the moment, and we have to all do our little bit, don't we, to try and cheer the next person up, and try and stay cheerful ourselves, of course, which is not always easy. But I find, it's like wrinkles. You don't see them so much if you smile. And, of course you don't see them at all if you take your glasses off, for the older ones among us. But, here I just would like to wish you well, and say that, you're always in my prayers. Oh, Tim. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Tim. Oh, yes, you must have picked up on the fact that I thought, do people really want to listen to what I've got to say? Surely they could find somebody a bit prettier or more interesting. But these are the kinds of sort of questions that assail all of us, don't they? We sort of think, oh, am I good enough to do this? Am I fulfilling anybody's, needs, or am I just serving myself? And I certainly hope that I'm not doing that. Although I must say, it cheers me up no end to know that I'm in touch with so many people, and I feel that at least if I can help one person, if we can all help just one person, that's tremendous. If you can save one person's life down here, that is great. If you can heal just one person of their ills, that is great, I think. So, we all have to hang on to that, I guess. And so I will. Oh, and I must congratulate Joanne Bruno. Now, she is, you could call it a neighbour, a fellow villager here, and she is a young woman, young family, good medium, work of spirit and the light, and she has had her own problems and troubles, and she has overcome them. And this morning, when I was feeling a bit sort of, I turned on my computer and I suddenly saw a notification that she was live. So I went on to that, and there she was, struggling around this 5K that she was doing, and also linking into spirit and some inspirational words. And I thought, wow, that is marvellous. And, such a wonderful effort. So I thought I would mention her. And, there are so many good people, aren't there, and so many youngsters coming up. It does me good to actually think about all of that. And, eventually when all us old ones pop off the edge of the planet, we should be leaving it in good hands, I think. So, I'll speak to you again. Oh, no, she doesn't. Come on. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Tim. Well, I thought at one time that I could actually do sort of these sort of broadcast things with sort of looking at something else, sort of looking at some sort of lovely scenery or something, and just talk as a voiceover. But I think we have to leave that part of it to God. And them over there in spirit, because of course they talk over, don't they, the scenery down here, whatever it is, and they talk through us as well. So there. But thanks, Tim, for that encouragement. It's much appreciated, actually. And I will endeavour later on today to answer some questions, I think. And I know that people, as I've looked around, through the internet at all these different mediums and services offered, and there are so many comments that are just asking for messages, just asking for something for themselves. And I think that somehow or other, there has got to be, as many mediums as we can, to get those messages and those communications out to people who are so desperately in need of them. And we used to be very scathing about messages. When I came into this movement, there was this sort of rather, frowned upon idea that messages were sort of secondary to philosophy. But in actual fact, messages came first. That's what founded this movement. The philosophy came second. And I think that's what we've got to remember. That's something that I've learned as I've gone through this spiritualist movement, this way of life, that not to decry messages and not to look down on mediums who perhaps struggle a bit, but do get those messages out. And more than anything else, we need more mediums to give more messages to people, give them upliftment and the answers they want about themselves, about their lives, and to keep everybody going and make this world ultimately a much better place to live in. We all know that heaven is perfect, down here isn't. So there we go. I better go in now, or I shall get a bit chilly, and I shall probably have to start wearing one of these knitted shawls or something. I'm sure if my mum was down here now, she'd knit me a shawl, because she used to knit me everything else. She used to knit me my bubble hats for skating, my gloves, same thing, and scarves, same thing, mostly for skating. Can you imagine it? I came up here racing on the fens one time. I remember I was all bundled up and I would refuse to get undressed. I kept all my top clothes on and everything. I got out to race a mile in my outdoor clothes as well as my tracksuit underneath. I tell you, the sweat was streaming down into my eyes. I couldn't see anything. All I could see before me, I remember, was the ice and hear it. I can still hear it and still feel the heat, and the fact that my legs wouldn't move after about 3/4 of a mile. I was completely shattered and done in. But there you are, you see, we all learn by our mistakes. I think it took me about 4 minutes to do that mile. Oh dear, oh dear. What made it worse was the little man, I remember, with the flag had fallen over, and because of all the sweat I couldn't see him, and I didn't know where to cross over into my inside lane, so I finished the last 1/4 mile on the outside track, which was the longest way round. Never mind. There, what a lovely anecdote for you first thing in the morning. And that's just for you, Joanne, with your 5k effort. Well done, by the way. And I'll speak to you all later, and hope that I can answer a few questions about spiritual matters. And when we ask about the future, there's all kinds of probabilities and possibilities. And in my future anyway, I'm hoping that I can see a large expanse of ice with a 400-metre track and an inner bandy pad of something like 100 metres by 60 metres, and lots of spectators watching, and government officials being there, and the royal family and everything else. And that's my vision for the future, which may not seem very spiritual, but it is to me. So there you are, guys. God bless you, keep you safe, and I'll do some of the serious stuff later on, I guess. Bye for now. Bye, God bless you.